Hello, I'm Jerry McKee, and it's that time. It's Monday, and we're just going a little tad early, about 15 minutes, and just wanted to get everybody out of the cold. I know if you're not outside because it's cold outside, and you're going to freeze, and you're going to snuggle up by the fireplace and watch prime time. That's it. You can watch me, and I've got a great guest on here tonight, and he's got a lot of hats he wears, but he's got some interesting things going on in his life. I want you to bring to you, and especially way AI is, and the way the internet is, the way Facebook is, and all these social medias. We want to make sure that we keep our kids safe and what to look for. And this guy here, he can tell you what to look for. And we're going to talk about some of his experiences. We're going to show a couple of videos where uh, he talks about his personal ad here. And also, we're going to see where he confronts a predator. And so we're going to talk about him as an investigator in cyber predators. We're also going to talk to him about a little about his acting, and maybe he'll tell us a joke too, because he does a little comedian stuff there too. So maybe we can get him to tell us a joke. And his name is Aaron Khan, and I'm going to bring him on right now. Aaron, how you doing?
Good, Jerry. Thanks for having me.
Glad you can make it. Uh, did you find the airport here? I know all these lights I got around the house.
It did look like a runway. I'm not a qualified pilot, but if I was, I'd do a good landing.
Exactly, because that's I probably got a little carried away with it, but hey, I'm gonna light up the place anyway. And tell us a little bit about yourself and where people will know who we talk about. Especially you're a founder of an investigation team, and tell us a little bit about that.
So my name is Aaron Khan. I normally go by Doc. I got that nickname in the Army. I was a combat medic for OEF, Operation Enduring Freedom. So I'm a disabled combat medic, veteran, and uh, I grew up in New York. I spent 20 years there growing up, and then I left for the Army. Once I got out of the Army, I came to South Carolina. Um, that was due to Hurricane Sandy coming in and destroying my neighborhood back in New York, and my parents relocating. So I'm the only, child. No brothers, no sisters. So there wasn't really any place for me to go to, that I had family. Very, very small family, I'm talking. So I relocated to South Carolina here in 2016 and opened up a family restaurant for a little while in Malden. It was Malden's Family Kitchen.
Hmm.
And then I just started doing my own thing once the pandemic, hit and COVID pretty much put an end to the restaurant business. Um, and
It shut down a lot of stuff, and
it definitely did.
restaurant business is very hard.
It was. It was
I
very
used to
demanding.
work in restaurants years ago and caterings and all that stuff. Oh yes, your life is tied up.
Extremely demanding for 4 years, but we did it. We pulled through and we were successful. And now we just took a little step away from that, and I've branched out and been doing my own things. In 2022, I was looking to do some open source intelligence investigations. It's called OSINT for short, where we use um, open source, meaning like things that you could find um, on the internet plainly, like
Mhm.
Google search or what have you. There are a little bit other techniques that we use to do investigative techniques, but so I founded Operation Predator Shield, um, which was basically founded. Our mission was to eliminate the amount of active convicted sexual predators who had active Facebook profiles on the platform itself. We had moderation powers. So back in the day, when we were founded, we had people from the community. They would reach out to us and they would ask us, "Hey, this guy is on here. Can you help?" Or this guy is talking to a relative, or somebody that they shouldn't be. Can you help? And it would be our job to get them removed from the platform. And we had 100% successful removal rate of the people reported. And in 2023, I successfully removed all of the convicted sexual predators who had active Facebook profiles from Facebook in the city limits of Malden, or 29662.
Well, what got you? I mean, if all the investigations that you can do where people has been missing, where people has been, uh, just kind of unsolved murders and stuff like that. What brought you to this type of investigation?
Well, these types of investigations, they don't really, the police departments and sheriff's departments, they don't really have a lot of funding for this types of stuff. These investigations are very lengthy, and they just don't have all the resources that they need to complete these investigations. And a lot of these tips, they go unanswered, or they just don't have the resources to follow up with them. So we try to gather as much information as we can, and we would deliver it to the appropriate channels.
Now, most people think sometimes that well, the only place that they find these predators is on the dark web. What's your thoughts on this right here?
The dark web, even nowadays, the dark web is monitored. You can't even using a VPN. There's still ways to track these people and to track IP addresses,
Mm.
um, even if it goes through different torrents or different nodes. I think they are called. But even using Tor, the Onion browser, as they call it, the dark web. I mean, it hosts various criminal networks, but nowadays it's a lot more um, under the eye of federal officials. They have a lot better grasp on it, and they're constantly shutting down websites that shouldn't be up there. But the predators and criminals committing, you know, some of the most heinous acts against communities and children are just right out in the open, on Facebook and social media platforms. That they're blatantly out there. They have no place to hide, but they're not really hiding their criminal acts either.
So, because they can kind of be. Do you have an age group that's predators, or is it just kind of wide open? Because I know sometimes you'll see, and we'll see a video in a little bit. Uh, that are they like people in the 30s or 50s, or I mean, what is the most that you've collected as far as if you got the data to see that range of age of a predator?
There is no specific um, general age range, I would say. Predators come and in all shapes and forms, in all ages. Um, so anywhere according to the law here in South Carolina, and other places depending on their laws, it could be anywhere from 18 and above, speaking to a person who could be 12, 13, 14, 15, something like that. But the general there is no range, like a specific range. It's everyone and everywhere. They could be any age at all.
And and that's very important for parents to monitor their children's activity, no matter what the age of their child is. And we know that sometimes that uh, parents kind of let them babysit or not monitor. Oh, they're 14 or 15. Oh, they know better, and that's really it's a misconception, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know the teenagers and these young adults on these platforms, on these social messaging and media platforms, they don't maybe realize what grooming is, what it's like to actually be groomed by somebody else. It's forms of manipulation and psychological tactics that people use to get what they want. And they could, there's a lot of in the news right now, sextorting, where people would obtain a photograph, a sexually explicit photograph of a young individual, and then use it in a way to blackmail them into sending them more. And sometimes that results in the young individual, committing suicide, or it leads to other psychological bad things.
Now, Do you, when in these investigations, uh, do you just search online, or does people come and approach you and says, "Hey, can you kind of look at this right here?" And how do you start this investigation? Because to me, I'm thinking, well, would you start it there? Because you got all these platforms, you got all these things here, and I think you've been in investigation. You got to be kind of trained a little bit to recognize what somebody is either catfishing, what they call catfishing, or are they getting too uh, chummy, or starting to really getting onto that young person's website a lot. Does the people do that? That do they change their appearance, or they put a false picture up? How's that work?
And that would be along the lines of catfishing. Um, Now, with our training, or my group's training, we are enrolled in the Fox Valley Technical Institute or college, receiving the same training that all the other investigators and law enforcement officers would receive. And any any group member or organizational member would receive the training on how to do our specific job, what we were trying to do. Through me, I would personally go over their house and explain what is what and how to do so. Um, yeah.
Well, you know, um, I'm just wondering that do you find out that even I mean, because it's wide range there from family members, uncles, grandparents, that you see ministers that you see that get caught doing as you thinking, and it shocks you. What are some of the signs that say for family? Because we all know it happens in families because we've seen it on the news, we've seen it in the courts. Uh, how does a parent? What's something they can look for, far as in a behavior in their child, or something that's going to be uh, a red flag, or a concern?
Well, a couple of red flags of grooming in particular is social isolation. Them spending a lot more time on their phone or just isolating themselves in their room. Any different spending habits, or getting really defensive, or putting like a lock over your phone or over their phone if questioned, or what have you. And getting back to your question earlier, people do approach us. Normally, how we start our investigations, um, we have to verify that they are actually a convicted sexual predator. And once we
Mhm.
verify through the appropriate channels, whether it's the sex offender registry, um, we are able to determine if it's something that we can actually go ahead and proceed with to investigate and attempt to remove from Facebook.
Now, can you tell people the registry, that's public knowledge that
It is.
they can go? And would you recommend to parents, especially small children, to look at that?
Well, I would recommend that in a situation just so that's self-awareness. The whole purpose of the registry is for residents of communities to know, um, who is on the registry around them, who resides around them. There are certain, limitations and laws regarding that, like they can't be so and so within the amount of distance to a school or a park. Um, but that is just for awareness to the community, so that the people in the community are aware. A lot of times people aren't aware. Um, for the South Carolina registry, you have the option to search within a 1, 2, or 3 mile radius of, let's say, your residence, or you could do it statewide. And there's also the national registry, that is on a national website as well.
Okay. Do you find that these ones that do they try to hide, or they is it uh, because they're on the register? It doesn't mean that they're cured for not doing it.
Well, according to the data, 60% of the people who engage in some sort of online communication with a minor that is, of sexual nature, will go out and attempt or commit a sexual act against said minor or a different one. So, you know, knowing where these people are is just one step of the equation in order to, you know, of awareness, I would say.
Now, those I know we all go shopping in stores, and do you think that even going with online and looking where actually probably where they live at or something like that, but being aware of maybe looking at the pictures because they got to have their pictures updated. They've got to register if they don't. 'Cause look how many times we've seen people get arrested for not registering, even if they go to another county or if they go and they got to go another state, they got to let that sheriff's department know. I'm assuming that's some of the rules there because that's what I've kind of heard. And the awareness in stores, because we get caught up in shopping and we get caught up looking this right here, and someone come, oh, what a nice child, or what this right here, a stranger, uh, and in small towns especially, everybody knows everybody, and they assume that you know that and are kin to that person and all. Uh, do they kind of prey on that end, especially on stores and things, or because apparently they cannot be near schools and things, of course, but
Well, I mean, it's really prevalent everywhere. Small cities, small towns, bigger ones. One time I was driving down the road in Malden in South Carolina, and I noticed, and this is just from me looking at the registry, looking at all the faces on the registry and familiarizing myself with it. But I was driving down the road one day and I noticed that one of the people on the registry was walking back and forth in front of one of the middle schools. And they were, kids outside playing. I think school might have just got let off. And so I called the police department and got that individual taken care of. Um, but they're everywhere, and it's better to know, and it's better to make yourself aware and make your families aware,
Mhm.
um, of just possibilities. I'm not saying that everybody out there on the registry is bad or anything, and you know, they, s- sometimes they're just in the wrong situation or in the wrong spot at the wrong time. But that's what the court system, and that's what proven innocent until proven guilty is all about.
Right.
Um, but there are people who act again, um, and there are those people who, like I said, 60% of the people speaking to a person who they're not supposed to be will, according to the studies, will commit a crime against those people. So, being aware is 100% something that everybody should be
Right.
doing.
Now, if someone wanted to contact you, and people down below, you can see where you can contact him and find him, find Aaron. Say to you ever thought about? I don't know if you may got one out there, a training video or training coming to a organization speaking to parents to talk to them about how the awareness of their children and talk to their children about predators because a lot of parents out there now, we've got new parents out there who's got young children and growing up that sometimes, especially in small towns, we trust. We want to trust. And do you have any classes or plan on in the future to be able to come in and say in a church and talk to some young mothers, talking and fathers, of course, too, uh, to really let them know what to look for, the certain things they can do, and because a lot don't, a lot of you got a lot of them that doesn't know some, even young folks about technical things.
And in regards to that, I mean, I can totally do that upon request. But the laws are ever so changing. They're changing, constantly. There's actually legislation and bills in the House right now in South Carolina that are adding a minimum mandatory sentence to one of the child exploitation laws here that we have in South Carolina, because what legislators found was that people were getting loopholed into not serving any jail time and getting plea bargained out for possessing, child pornography. So the laws and they're constantly changing. But if you go onto the Attorney General's website, I believe that you can actually request, presentations, and you'll be able to keep up to date with the ever so changing laws regarding that.
Well, with people thinks that also that you know, okay, well, what I'll do is I will just have you know child pornography, and it's legal because it's my laptop, and I'm looking on this website, or I'm going to sign up on this website. Now, most of those websites, when they pass these child pornographies, uh, does the person have to register to get on to that website or pay a fee, or is it just open? I mean, come to me, I'm thinking if it's that open that anybody just wants, say, for instance, myself, I was typing something and accidentally hit, how you can type in Skyfly or something like that, and there comes up half clothed woman, once, the person accidentally types in something like that and say, oh gosh, I could get arrested, but there's a little bit more to that for it to happen, right?
Yeah, websites, even the pornographic websites that we have nowadays, for instance, for example, Pornhub, they go through a lot of different layers of verification now. They've really cracked down on all the uh, unconsensual, pornographic material that they've had on their website. Um, but regarding pay sites, that more or less has to do with incorporating AI. For example, um, in the UK, as of just a couple of days ago, the UK government is launching an investigation into the AI app Grok. It's like GROK, for allegedly allowing users to manipulate images using the AI to generate images of different people without their clothes on or of a younger age, and they believe it goes against their laws in the UK. And I believe Grok is owned by X or Twitter, or something like that. Um, and so, what in response to that, Grok made their image generation only to paid subscribers.
Hmm. Now, let's talk about AI. Everybody, we hear it about on our everywhere about AI, and some people say that we don't need that, we don't want to trust that, we don't know what's real, what's not real, and I know in the news they had someone that got arrested using AI, like you said, making pornography, a child pornography with AI, and they could be arrested for the same thing. It's not just because it's generated into look like a person is not the same person. They think they can get by with this like that, but it is laws that will. It's child pornography, regardless if you use AI or not. Now, you use this in in your investigations, and how? Give me some pros and cons of that and using that in your investigation.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what AI did for our organization first. We were founded again just to reduce the number and eliminate convicted sexual predators with active profiles on Facebook. Now, what AI did for our organization, it actually pretty much stripped us of our powers. Um, so back when they just changed human moderation into AI moderation, and Facebook still has the link to report a convicted sexual predator. The problem is the link doesn't go anywhere. You can report someone 3, 4, 5 times. It doesn't matter because it's not going anywhere. It's going to a computer. It's going to AI, and the AI just doesn't do anything because it stripped us of our Facebook moderation powers. And to strip us of human moderation, I mean it made Facebook itself, the platform, a much more dangerous place for the community. Now, the bottom line is, does AI help in regards to investigations and whatnot. It can. It can when used appropriately. Um, so, for an example, in a recent investigation that I was doing, um, so this past August, my truck was stolen from my property in Lawrence,
Mhm.
and we had a suspect in mind. And what happened was I actually used AI to change my appearance, to change my entire gender, and I basically used the fake persona to seduce the suspect into providing me with photos of the vehicle that he used to burglarize my house and steal my vehicle.
Now, well, did he trying to sell the vehicle?
Sell it? No.
No.
He it was actually an insurance fraud scheme. So he came to my house at night. He hooked up chains to my truck, pulled it out in the middle of Highway 76, which it caused a head-on collision. But he went around the block and went full speed into it, and then reported it to the insurance company as a deer strike. All while burglarizing my house because I was out of state celebrating my birthday.
Oh,
So I came home to actually finding him in my driveway. Yeah. Yeah.
surprise, right?
Right. That's one heck of a vacation.
So you use AI to kind of change your appearance?
I did. I did.
Is that to confront him or to?
Yes, to confront him into, using it to leverage my way and to, initiate a conversation with him. And it worked, and I started talking about his truck, um, the truck that he used allegedly to commit the robbery and the burglary. And I started speaking about his truck, being like, "Oh, I like trucks. I'm familiar with Fords. What kind of truck is that? Well, can you send me a picture?" He's like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah." And one thing led to the other, and he sends me all the pictures. And investigators at the sheriff's office, they said it was excellent work. It was a very nice trick. They gave me a lot of credit for it. They were like, "Oh yeah, that was pretty good, pretty good."
So,
And
so the guy picked the wrong person to steal the truck and break in his
I mean,
house.
if you ask anybody who knows me, I mean, they would tell you to pick a different guy.
Yeah, yeah. I had a truck for sale one time, and someone they kind of more or less they stole it, wrote me a bad check and things on it, and it kind of disappeared. And but they made one mistake. One before they was checking on the truck for sale, they called it on a cell phone,
Mm,
and then when I got back to the cell phone, I figured out with that person there says, "Oh yeah, we had some friends of ours that they bought that truck underneath us. We was going to buy it," and told me who the friends were,
mhm,
and
yeah.
so I found them.
A state representative, I'm gonna quote her, Dr. Rosalind Myers actually just said in a recent response to Spartanburg Police Department incorporating AI in their investigations. She said, "AI is the future of the world. It is here to stay, and it's something that we're going to have to embrace and utilize for all kinds of things. And it's only fitting that it would be used to fight crime." So, day to day, we see AI being more and more incorporated into fighting crime and just everyday uses, but AI can be used for good and it could also be used for bad. So as long as the user itself, the actual person behind using the AI is responsible, then it could be used responsibly.
Well, it's like anything that can be manipulated into something bad. For instance, gunpowder was made for healing, and now we put it in bullets and stuff to kill.
Mm,
So good and bad, and I think it all depends on how you use it. I love AI. I just kind of do all kind of little things with it, and even wrote a song to my wife there with one just. And I don't have music skills to play anything, but I typed in. I can type a lot of crazy stuff,
mm,
and it put the music to it and all this right here. Actually, I thought it was pretty good like that, but she thought it was kind of funny in one sense,
mhm.
but you could do some good things with it. And now, in using AI, do you use this to does it help you? Because I know if you're tracking someone or you're going to engage with that person, and do you make yourself like, well, he's talking to a young girl or young boy or something like that, how do you come up with the image to let that person kind of really believe? Because I know the predator sometimes they're always in the back of their mind. I'm gonna walk in, and here comes Hanson walking through the door with the camera. Uh, only if it's that simple. And how long does it take you to get that person to trust you enough to meet you? And we're going to see this video in a few minutes.
Well, in my investigations, my organization's investigations, we've never used AI to actually impersonate an actual being. Um, we've used verified, photos that we are allowed to use. So we have verified Facebook profiles of young adults, which I can't release, but the people. But we have a whole bunch of friends. If I were to log on to one of those profiles right now, I could show you, immediately we start receiving messages from people, because they get the green notification like, oh, that person's online. As soon as we log on, we have hundreds and hundreds of friend requests. And it's really a shame that in that aspect, like there's not much that we can do um, anymore, at least. But we can just gather information and report it to the proper, authorities if we can. But we've never, actually used AI. We could going forward now that AI is a little bit more, um, prevalent. But even still, with ChatGPT, if you were to go on ChatGPT and say, modify this image of this person, ChatGPT has now rules in place where it will prevent you from doing that.
Right.
So they put a lot more moderation into certain AI, bots.
Well, I imagine that you're kind of restricted also that you just can't use a minor's picture
Right.
to trap someone, I guess.
Right. And the how predator catcher groups, like Operation Predator Shield, um, a lot of states actually do not work with groups like ours. So, for example, South Carolina is really one of them. The only thing was that we had in my organization we had a former detective, a former prosecutor, a corrections officer, two doctors, and together our team, had a lot of connections, and we were able to point in the people in the right directions and actually do something with our evidence. So we, saw some results,
Right.
and that was good. We worked with a lot of different, um, you know, d- uh, organizations and federal law enforcement agencies. I mean, even going to Canada, we've assisted with investigations, the FBI, a whole bunch of different things.
Okay. Well, I want to play an ad that you have out there. It's a very good ad, and let people see that. And it just kind of, to me, it gives some wake up calls to parents a little bit. And
You love your kids. If you had the opportunity to prevent something bad from happening to them, would you intervene? Of course you would. Not everyone online has good intentions. Predators use the internet to find and exploit vulnerable young people seeking to do harm. This is where Operation Predator Shield steps in. We track down these predators, expose their crimes, and take action. With your tips, we can help
you do
law
this video?
enforcement find these criminals,
Good job.
stop their dangerous activities, and make sure they face justice.
Who's-
Thanks to Operation Predator Shield's all-volunteer
there
team of
voiceover?
professionals dedicated to around-the-clock service, you can be assured if something is wrong, they are there to help. Unfortunately, we cannot be everywhere at once. We recommended that parents
put the
routinely
caption
monitor their children's online activity.
underneath the tube,
Look for warning signs that your child
that
may
big
be
cat jumped on my
exhibiting
burns back
if they
there.
are under
Huh.
attack by a predator, such as avoidance, social isolation, spending large amounts of time on an internet-accessible device, mood swings, new spending habits, and even new self-image problems such as lack of confidence in their appearance. Talk to your children. They need to know what is right from wrong, and they are relying on you to instill that. We have seen countless times again and again of the consequences when children use social media platforms like Facebook and chatting apps such as Messenger. Of course, everything in moderation. And by moderation, we would like to remind you that in late 2023, Facebook got rid of human moderation of their platform and switched to AI moderation. This move has drastically made Facebook a much more dangerous place for all. The rules are not enforced as their reporting pages lead to dead ends and no responses. This, along with the Supreme Court's decision that the states cannot restrict convicted sexual predators from using social media platforms, we urge you to remain vigilant. We have seen a major uptick of instances regarding predators, and it's not slowing down. Join us in the fight. Together we can protect the innocent and bring predators to justice. Thank you for your support. From all of us at Operation Predator Shield and the new Palmetto Creek Patrol.
All right. That's a good video.
Yeah, so that's one of the ways that you can contact us. Agent at Operation Predator Shield. It's a 24/7. Looked at email for anybody who needs it.
It's like, okay, I see who's looking at that. I just kind of looking at a chat room there. This next video, I want to talk to you about this character that we're going to see, and tell me how that your investigation you kind of built up and meeting this person, and then we'll show the video.
So the person in the video that you're about to see, we were actually speaking with him over the course of probably about a year. And he was very careful as to not really break any laws per se. A lot of people, they are very hesitant to, ask for certain things. We decided that it was time to intervene when he agreed to a meetup of our decoy profile, which was an underage female, and the things that he wanted to do while meeting up with that person were just not kosher. And even he could say that a lot of people, when we actually confront them, a lot of people immediately say, "Oh, my Facebook was hacked." That's their number one excuse.
That's the go-to, right?
Number one excuse. They normally will block us and immediately and put on Facebook as their status like Facebook was hacked. Telltale sign. That's a go-to. But this one we confronted after our people just had enough, because we saw that he had the potential to inflict real damage on a real individual, and we decided to intervene. And these conversations, our chat logs, was an accumulation of chat logs that took place over the course of a year, that we were constantly talking to this person.
Now, how long did it take you? Some people think, oh, you can do that in just a couple minutes or an hour or something. In your investigation, how long does it usually take you, for instance, this individual person? Was you communication with him for days, or?
It could be a combination of anything, really. I mean, it could be, some people will reach out immediately with nude pictures, and they'll just send it to your inbox, or messages like, "Hey, you want to make some money?" A lot of times we see that. So they're asking they leave an open-ended question and expect you to respond with like, "Oh, of course I would need money." Like, yeah, of course. What do you have in mind? And a lot of times it does take the gaining of trust, because this is a very time consuming, activity.
Right.
that we're doing also. And a lot of these, investigations over time, that's how they happen. They happen over time. It takes a long time to actually, um, to reach a level or reach a point in the conversation where, okay, this is, where it's no, it breaks the law, or it's about to break the law. Um, a lot of people are very hesitant into speaking with, a profile. But what we do is we immediately, as soon as the conversation initiates, we're like, hey, we state our age, our decoy's age. So that way it's known right there in the beginning. And if they continue the conversation in any way, shape, or form, it's somebody to look into. The immediate response to, hey, we're an underage profile, is to immediately block it. That is the
Right.
100%, you're safe. But for anybody who continues the conversation, we're going to be looking at you.
Now, this guy here, I guess your investigation, which you build up like that, you turn that over to the police to kind of, beware of this guy here. All right, let's take a look at this right here. I was impressed with this video.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Make sure the body cam's on. Alrighty. Let's go find this guy. That actually kind of looks like him over there. There, let's go see him. That guy with no shirt on. Oh yeah, we coming for you, boy. You look like the person I'm looking for. Huh? You look like the person I'm looking for. You must be Eugene.
Who are you?
I'm an investigator with Operation Predator Shield.
Who?
Operation Predator Shield. Let's have a chat. Let me pull over real quick. So, Mr. Eugene. Yeah, let's put the machete on the ground.
Yeah. What did you think I was trying to pull it on you?
No, so, do you have any reason to believe why I'm here? Like, why do you think I'm here?
I don't know.
You have no idea?
Oh.
None whatsoever?
Oh.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, you're not talking to anybody that maybe you shouldn't be, or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, I have been talking to somebody online.
Who you been talking to?
Oh, some girl named Julie.
Okay, and what about? What have you been talking about?
Oh, I've just been telling her that I've been having hard times, living in the woods, everything's going on.
Mm-hmm.
She started talking about, having a relationship, and I told her we can't have no relationship until she's legal age.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that her sister had guardianship over her. I said, that still don't mean anything, because where's your mom and your dad? She said, mom, about her dad was dead. Her mom was probably in jail.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her, I said, well, you still got to get in touch with your mom to get parental rights and everything. unless your sister has got guardianship and everything. And she's like, yes, she does got guardianship and everything. So I was like, okay, well, we'll just have to wait 2 years before we could have a relationship.
And how old are you?
52.
52. Okay, so 52, and so how old is she?
I think she said she was 15.
15.
Yeah.
And the profile, it says 14 actually.
I didn't look at her profile.
You didn't look, so you just started chatting.
They don't even say it on Facebook. On
It
the
does.
Profile.
It does. It does. Yeah.
It doesn't say it on mine.
Okay. You have your phone on you, right? I'm not gonna ask to look through it. I'm just making sure.
So young.
Yeah, it's charging up.
Yeah.
So, you talked about kissing and whatnot. So, you want
I told
to.
her, I said we had to find out what's legal at, she said something about legal at 16 from something or whatever. I said, I don't know. I've been out of state for a long time, so I don't know what it is. We'd have to find out about kissing, holding hands, or whatever we could do and what we could not do.
So, is this girl your boyfriend or your girlfriend? I'm sorry. Are you her boyfriend at this moment?
No.
Okay, that's not really what you said.
That's why I told her I wanted to do everything legal. That way it wouldn't be no problem.
Right now, we just got to keep it friendship or close friends, however you want to put it. But I'm still your boyfriend.
Well, I mean, she wanted me to know if I'd be her boyfriend. I just said, yeah. I mean, I ain't with her. So, I mean,
well, she hasn't showed up
I don't
yet.
even know if she's real.
I mean, she hasn't showed up yet.
Yeah, I don't even know if she's real. You know what I'm saying?
So here's a big, fat, wet, juicy kiss for you.
Does that
sound familiar? We could kiss, hold hands. I know we could do that probably.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
I don't know what the parental rights is. I think.
So you don't know, but you would still go ahead and do something like this?
No, that's what I'm saying.
So as you can see,
That you know, we was talking, about amazing how they come up with all these excuses that they're almost the victim. And this man was 52 years old, and he thought he was talking to what, a 15-year-old?
we can't really,
not-
under the age,
Right,
legal.
under legal age. And I just don't see what he had to offer as far as
It's all part of that grooming technique that these predators use. Talking to a decoy or just a regular person who's underage. Giving them compliments. Throughout the day, checking up on their day. Seeing how their day went, or how'd school go, or what they do today, and that's all part of the grooming process. And they build a relationship and build trust with these victims, and that's how they get the victims to cooperate with them. And then once they're actually in person with the person, who knows what'll happen.
Right. Well, it's to me, it's another key thing that the parents pay attention and communicate with your children, because if you're not communicating with them, they're gonna find someone that tell them how nice they look, give them compliments, and one if your kids come home and after several visits somewhere and they come home with some cash, quite a bit, that's a big red flag, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is.
And
And we want to remind everybody, that we are not law enforcement. If you have an emergency or a situation that you deem is, worthy of an investigation that needs immediate assistance, or you have immediate concerns for you or your child's safety, to contact law enforcement. They have a lot more resources than we do. We just gather information and we turn over to law enforcement agencies. Whether they want to listen or not is up to them.
right.
Hopefully we like to provide as much, detail as possible. We go by penal code. I'm a criminal justice major. I studied this in college. So we abide by the law through our, open source investigations as much as possible, so we don't, screw up any potential investigations that could happen. But ever since AI took over, it's made it a little bit hard for us to do our, our mission. But uh, we still receive some random like scam, investigations that
Right.
we've done. We do assist where we can.
Okay. And folks, if you've seen the little ticker down below there, that's where you can contact Aaronette, and feel free to send him a message. And I'm sure he'll be answering back pretty quickly. And we're going to switch gears. We're going to look at some pictures and some other things that you do also. But of course, we'll look at these other ones here too. Let's switch over here and let's see. There we go. Now, who's the guy with you there?
That was a police officer out here in Pendleton. And that's me in my vest, and I got my badge on there. Just working together and enjoying the day.
Okay, I thought it was one of your team members.
No, no, no. That was at police
Or
department.
oh, was it? Oh, okay. Oh, good.
I was just assisting with something.
Now, this logo here, this is the South Carolina Task Force, and this is internet crimes against children. You belong to this organization.
So that is run by the Attorney General and their office. We were not officially a part of them, but we assisted with our investigations, and we, as a member of the National Crime Watch, National Sheriff's Association as well. We have people who are trained in that. Like I said, our former prosecutor, our former detective. So we had members who were a part of that and still had connections. So we were affiliated just in a unofficial capacity,
Okay.
but we would still, transmit all of our information over to them and the national reporting websites as well.
Okay. And here's a picture of you acting, and you do a lot of acting, and this look like where you got your start. What got you into to acting? We're going to switch gears here a minute and lighten things up a little bit.
Well, that is a photo that you see right there of me in high school in the play Grease. We were doing Grease the musical. I first started doing acting a year prior. I started doing stage crew, so I would be setting up the props and setting up the stage for these, acts and shows. But one of my friends was like, "Hey, we need an extra person," and I was like, "You know what? Yeah, why not? Let me give it a shot." So I ended up being in Greece, and we set the record for the school for the most sold out shows in one weekend for that appearance, and that's what really got me started per se. I was in choir, in men's choir, variety choir, so I had a voice, I guess you could say, a singing voice. I'm not so sure about now, but I do some karaoke here and there. But so that's what really set the stage, so to speak. And once I got out of the army and I came to South Carolina, I was invited to be uh, basically just in the background for a music video. And I was, taking some photos, and I said, as everyone was done, I said to the producer, I'm like, "Hey, I actually drive a retired cop car, and like I have the whole uniform and get up. If you ever need a police officer in any of your music videos, let me know. I can come out and, act it out." And, soon thereafter, I was getting phone call after phone call after phone call and traveling all around the state. And I've been doing music videos and film productions with the cop car, and me as a police officer, acting as one. I've done videos where people would drive in from Atlanta or drive down from North Carolina, football players who want a police officer or, that cop car in their videos. And that cop car has landed me different roles, even being on a TV series called On the Run here recently that just released. And it had its premiere in the Camelot theaters not too long ago. It will be released on streaming platforms come, I think, a little bit later this year. And it's gotten me a whole bunch of roles across whole different areas. It's opened the door, to a lot.
Now you also do producing,
I
correct?
do. I do. I just filmed a music video with David Robinson, an upcoming artist from Greenville, South Carolina, also a veteran. And he incorporates music. He incorporates different languages into his music, and I think he's really a hot up and coming artist that people should really look into. And we just shot a music video with like 5 different locations, and it turned out fantastic. And it was really nice. The title of it is "Cut Wide Open."
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
Now, uh, in producing now, you've got something that's coming up pretty hot.
Yeah.
That's hadn't been released yet.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like a historical artifact collector. I have a whole bunch of artifacts per se. Like I have the actual newspaper from when World War II ended from Greenville. South Carolina says Nazis quit. A very historical piece, and I have various things dating back all the way to the 1800s, mid 1800s. But one of my most prized possessions that I have is actually a real photo postcard, a RPPC, of Greenbank, West Virginia. And I don't know if you know a lot about Greenbank, West Virginia, but it is at the center of the National Radio Quiet Zone. And that's where these telescopes, these huge telescopes, they beam out into outer space, hoping to pick up, any signs of intelligent life or any type of radio signal. So that's Greenbank. The town of Greenbank itself has a population of approximately 100 people who are all radio sensitivity. They have a greater or heightened amount of radio wave sensitivity to them, and they actually go there for peace and quiet. They want to get away and escape the world because up until about last year, every type of like radio wave was illegal. They actually have a person who drives around in a van and can pick up these different radio waves, and he patrols the area and will issue a citation, if he picks one up.
So that's
So
why I call it quiet zone.
right, exactly, and it extends for miles and miles and miles. It extends, I believe, into 3 different states. So people go there to escape. And this postcard right here, it's dated 1912, September. Let's see, September 3rd, 1912. So this is a real photo postcard of the town of Greenbank, West Virginia. Now, if you were to take this same photo of the town landscape, this modern day, you would notice that the big satellites are right here in the photo. And this was taken approximately 30 years before these satellites were installed. So I intend to travel to Greenbank, West Virginia, and stand in the same exact spot that this photographer took this photograph with. And I intend to speak to local historians regarding the author of this. And I'm going to be submitting this into the Virginia or West Virginia National Archives, as well as speak to some professors and historians along those lines when I'm there.
Now, do they still implement the quiet zone?
Oh yeah, 100%. They've just introduced Wi-Fi at the 2.4 gigahertz rate instead of the 5 gigahertz. 5 gigahertz is still actually illegal there, but they do still implement it. So, growing up there, it's like growing up in I don't know. I guess just no communications. Imagine growing up without a microwave or a cell phone, but it's illegal to use it. Now, some of you can relate growing up without a cell phone.
Oh yes.
Don't take it personally, but
Oh no. I grew up in the age where we barely had a TV. We did have black and white now.
well, these guys, I mean, up until last year, it was pretty much illegal. And there's a lot of documentaries and a lot of history on it. But what makes this photograph and postcard unique is that this was taken 30 years before that was implemented, where it became a national radio quiet zone. And historically, this is This has been authenticated by my guys at mailseum.com. So it is authenticated as real, um, and valued at one of the top 30 postcards of all time most valuable. So this is the first time I'm talking about it publicly, until I go ahead and release that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
looking forward to
it's
that.
gonna be great seeing the difference between then and now.
Right, right,
And so, folks, if you got children, don't move there. You might they go unless you want the quietness.
right. It's pretty, from what I've seen, pretty quiet.
Oh wow, you have to keep abreast of that. That's for sure. And this goes back to you're a photographer also,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
so you do a lot of photography, and I mean you got a lot of things, and all that really to me implements right into your investigation because you can use all this, and it helps you with the research and with photographs, and I mean it's pretty cool.
There's two things in my opinion that you need to be successful in life, and that's connections and intelligence. And put together, you could be unstoppable. As long as you have those two and use them wisely, that's what you need to be successful in life.
That's it. That's it. Well, Aaron, we've been here about an hour, and appreciate you coming by
Thanks for having me.
and talking with you. And I'm glad I got to meet you down in McCormick.
It was a pleasure. It was
And
fun night, but it was pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
it was
Yeah.
thousands of people there, and they wasn't there to the supposed comedian act that you have also.
Yeah. Well, I'll save a little bit of my funny inside for.
Another time,
Yeah.
we'll have to set that up there when you sing karaoke or something. You're
I
right.
think so. Appreciate it.
Well, Aaron, I really appreciate you coming by, and we're gonna keep up with you and find out what's going on. Especially, I'm really interested in the West Virginia trip
Yeah.
and
Me
all.
too.
Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It's got some information there, educational. And like I said, you see the ticker underneath there. You can contact Aaron there or contact me. I'll get hold of him. Either one like that if you need him there. And next week we'll have another great guest. And guest, we will send you information out on an ad that you can see who it is in. I don't like to reveal it sometimes beforehand because sometimes they might get tied up somewhere or another. Well, I'm Jerry McKee, and you have a great, wonderful, wonderful evening.